Hello guys, in this video we're going to learn how to use serial to send HTTP request to your server. So serial is a very powerful tool that I use almost every day as a web developer. So hopefully this video is helpful, and let's get started. The first thing I want to show you, this is a very simple controller I write using Spring Boot. So it has endpoints for the demonstration purpose. So the get, post, put here, delete. Also we have upload and this one for posting JSON. So let's get started with serial. So I have my command line open here, and these are the commands I'm going to send to the server. So the first thing, a very basic command you can send is serial and the URL. Okay, serial http host 8080 and get, and this will send a get request. So by default, a serial will send a get request to your URL. That's it, and you see that get request received as in here. Okay. And now if you want to show the response header, you just need to put the I option here, and you will see the response header are shown here, and also this is the response body. So next, that is the get request. Next we will send a post request. So sending a post request, you need to specify the method with the X here and following by post. So if you want to send other method, you need to replace post with something like put, patch, something like that, and post. And when you send post, you may want to send some body. So HTTP, the endpoint here, host 8080 post, and I will pass some data, some param. So by default, this is a form URL encoded request, something you would send in a form submit. So the param1, param1, and param2, equal param2. So that then send, and you see that the response is post receive with this value, and obviously we have the response here as expected. So similarly, you can send a put request, and the command is quite similar. Put and the URL, so host 8080 put, also the param, and make sure you don't forget the -d. So let me send without -d, param1 1 and param2 2, and you see that an error like this. So make sure you include the D to send the data. Okay, and you see that put request receive with these params. And also for completeness, I will send a delete request to the server. So X delete HTTP to the endpoint, host 8080, and delete and the resource. So let's go to the controller here. You see that the endpoint is here, delete and the resource ID. And you can put anything here, and that's it. So delete request for resource, just as expected. Next thing, then sometimes you want to send the headers, request header, which are very important when you work with API. So for example, you want to send the bearer token, so that is an authorization header. So let's see, serial dash, let's say you want to send the content type, right, or anything like h, so some custom header, for example 1 2 3, and you can send multiple headers by specifying h multiple times. So content type application JSON, something like that, and the endpoint HTTP, okay, localhost 8080, and I guess this is it, and get request receive, just like that. But let's go to the console here. So this is the endpoint I sent to, and I log the header out here, okay, and let's check the log, and you see that all the headers are logged here. So receive request URL, which is the slash, that is the root of the API. So we have header host equal localhost, and the custom header I sent here, and obviously the content type is here. So that is how you can send headers with serial. So next, let's try to upload some file to the server. So I have two files here. Let's upload a cat PNG here. So to upload a file, just serial minus f, and this is the name of the other file upload. So if you want to have file2, that would be possible, but make sure you update it here in your backend. So I have the file name here, so I need to have it as file here equal path to the file. So in this case, that would be car.png, something like that, and the endpoint localhost 8080 upload, I believe. And one thing that the endpoint is post mapping. So when you send a file, you don't need to specify the method. It is implicitly understand that this is a post request. So let's send the upload, and you see that file uploaded successfully. And if I turn on the breakpoint here and send the request again, you see that we can reach this breakpoint. And this is the file with file name is car.png, and the parts are here, okay. So sometimes in some API you would want to use basic authentication. So the way you send basic authentication is something like this. So serial-u and username and password, something like that, and then the URL. So let's see, host 8080, and that's it. So again, this is get request receive. Go to the console, you see that this will be converted to this authorization header. So this is basic default encoded of the username colon password. So if I go to basic default decode, and then put this and try to decode it, and obviously you have the username and password. So that is how you send a basic authorization header. And if you want to save the output to a file, simply specify the O and file name. So for example, O output.txt http localhost 8080, something like that. And you see that now I have an output file here, and if I check the content, and it should have the text output. So get request receive, just like that. So we don't see the get request receive in the request here, but it is saved to a file. So most of the time I would send JSON data to server. So let's see how you can do that with serial. So it's quite simple. So for example, I want to post JSON data, post to my server, http localhost 8080 post JSON, and make sure to specify the header, content type, application JSON, and data -d, and you can specify the JSON data here. So username, something like rex, okay, t-rex, okay, something like that, and hit enter, and you see that post with JSON receive. So this is the endpoint. So it received the request body here. So let's turn on the breakpoint and send the request again, just to show you that we have the data received here. JSON body, username, t-rex, as expected. So what if you have a very large JSON body and sending in the terminal would not be convenient? So you can put the JSON data in a file. So I have a JSON data here, not very big, not a big object, but obviously you can put a very large object here. And to do that, you just need to specify the data point to a file. So serial expose http, okay, post JSON, I believe, and the add data JSON. I'm missing something. Oh, I forgot the header, right? Content type, application JSON, and that's it. And you see that the data is here as expected, and that is how you send a post request with data from a file. So sometimes you want to see more info than just the header and the body. So in that case, you would use the -v option for both. So serial -v http, let's say Google, for example. Then you can see a whole lot of data. So you can see the TOS handshake here and a lot of things. You can see that there's a redirect here. And that's it, and this is the body. Okay. And when you have a domain that is, for example, it has SSL certificate problems, like this one, Miclayer. This is a very cool project. I don't know why this domain is in this state, but it seems the project might not be maintained anymore. So you see that certificate is not valid. Let's see, it expired a long time ago, like, let's see, 8 years ago. Wow, that's a lot of time has passed. But If you insist to see the content of the page, then you can use the -K to bypass the SSL verification. So 0, you will see that this is an error. Okay, unable to get local issuer certificate, something like that. But if you do a -K here, -K, then you can see the content of the page. Yeah. So that's it, guys. That is how I use Serial on my daily basis. That helps me a lot, and hopefully it is useful to you too. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.